everyone, I'm Jacob. I play Tithla. She's a ranger. Tithla's in Barovia because she's tagged along with some friends and somebody needs to look after them.
Hi, I'm Haz, and I'm playing the character of Theodore Satyr, Circle of the Moon Druid, whose main motivation is to find a good revel and turn into a giant angry fey bear to protect his friends, particularly his best bud Tithla.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I shall be playing Killian Maxwell, a elf celestial warlock who has been travelling around Barovia for a little while and has joined up with the Tempest Guild to try and find his place.
G'day, my name's Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar divination wizard. He is here to find the best and the worst of this world, and he's doing it with a bit of naivety and optimism.
Hello, I am Raph, and I'm playing Styx, who is a Gloomforged Paladin, on the journey of rediscovering themselves, quite literally, in the land of Barovia.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd 5th edition campaign. A warning, gentle viewer. Curse of Strahd is a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which means you may hear adult language or adult themes throughout this episode. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again. Thank you for joining us for our Curse of Strahd campaign, the premier 5th edition horror campaign. Or should I say 5.5? Or 5th edition 2024? Because we're kind of using both sets of rules now. We have had some of the characters, some of the players switch their characters over to the newer rules. I think from the sounds of it, most people are going to be switching over, which I think is a good idea. There's good stuff for most people here. I think it makes sense to jump over to the new sets of rules. For anyone who's using weapons, the weapon masteries alone make it worthwhile. And some of the new wordings of spells, which we found out on Wednesday, some of the new wordings of spells are actually better for the players. The spell command, for example. Previously, when you cast the spell command, it had to be a creature that could speak the language you were doing it and understand what you were saying. Now, that has been completely removed. You point at a creature, you say the command, and it does it. It doesn't matter what you say, like in the language, it doesn't matter if it speaks, like it doesn't even matter if it has an intelligence of 1. It will follow the command if it can do so, which is hilarious. So there have been some major buffs to some spells, some utility buffs to other spells, but for the most part, like the more I look into the new sets of rules, the more I'm like, these are mostly an improvement, and the stuff that's not an improvement, we'll just homebrew anyway, like we do with 5th edition. 5th edition's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. Like, it's got drawbacks and problems that we've been compensating with for years, so it's all good. In terms of other fun announcements to share before we start the session, I think that's the main one. There has been an update to Synergy, which is the really, really cool, I guess, like colony survival game I'd been playing around with a while ago, where you were like, it was like all hand-drawn art, very similar to like the Mobius style of artwork, or a little bit like Sci-Fi Studio Ghibli. Gave me kind of Nausicaa Valley of the Wind vibes, where you were kind of like surviving on an alien planet, having to research the ecosystem around you. There has been an update to that, a pretty expansive update that's added a whole bunch of new scenarios. Yes, I will be playing through those new scenarios, recording it, and chucking it up on YouTube for you lovely people. I will be doing it at a date in the future, soon. I don't know exactly when. Probably I'll start the recordings next week, which means I hopefully will have them up next week, but I'll keep you posted if there's any changes to that. For the moment, it looks like next week's going to be the easiest day to start recording. The final thing I have to say probably is maybe 2 questions, both of which the answer is yes. And I imagine these are questions that may come up either from the players or from people in chat. Yes, I was at the beach today. Yes, I did get sunburned. That is why my face is red and I look like I have very pale eyes and bright red cheeks. Normally I am quite sun smart. I don't know what went wrong yesterday. Probably I got very minorly burnt yesterday and then went back to the beach today and just re-burnt myself. So going in for the double strike. Don't be foolish like me. Slip, slop, slap, wear your hat. Don't be like me. I did put loads of sunscreen on, clearly not enough. So if my face is red, at least I can light up your life with the reflections coming off it, the nice soft red glow emanating from my cheeks. I will try my best not to be sunburned for Tom's wedding, but no promises. Probably I will manage that as well.
Yeah, good shot. Good shot.
Yes.
Do you know that they have updated Slip Slop Slap?
I did not know that. I feel I feel like you're trolling me, though. Is this real?
No, I wish. It is slip, slop, slap, seek, slide.
Seek I can understand. What's the slide for?
I'm trying to remember. So seek is
Slide on a shirt.
I'm guessing seek shade. Is it slide on a shirt? Is it, Tom?
Yeah,
seek.
that's right.
But isn't there already?
Isn't that slip on sun
Oh,
protection?
slap on a hat.
Slap on a hat.
Because
Here we
why
go.
put on a hat if your just torso is completely exposed to the sun? Like
Could it be
that?
slap on
Covering
protective
bases.
clothing? Doesn't it? Could have. You didn't
Slide
need to
on some
change.
shades.
That's
Slide
so
on some
catchy, Owen. How did they miss
shades.
that?
Is it actually slide on some shades?
Slip on a shirt, slop
Yep.
on some sunscreen, slap on a hat, seek shade, slide sunnies on.
Yeah, slide on some. Do you know what? I actually kind of like slide on some sunnies. Never mind. I'm on board again. This is a necessary
Are
update.
you?
The seek shade feels unnecessary. I think that's a logical thing, right? If you're underneath the sun and you're hot, don't be underneath
Don't
the
be.
sun anymore. It seems like a logical one. But I guess this mostly is for children, so maybe that's
Also, Owen,
necessary.
you failed at that today, so
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is necessary.
It's a valid point. Look, hey, I nailed the slide on some sunnies. It was more the hat. I failed on the hat. I don't like wearing hats generally, and I don't normally wear a hat ever. That's where I failed. Yeah. I need to get one of those big Bunnings hats, the big, woven.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Big,
This is a very
broad-brimmed
Australian
straw
conversation we're having right now. I've just realized for everyone who's international and really confused, Jacob will explain it all in the Discord later tonight. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Let's get started.
I'll do it now. No.
You're welcome to. Haz is just looking up the new slip, slap, slap, slide, seek, and I can see his disappointment. It's palpable.
Nah, mate, I'm making my
New
2024
character
character.
sheet. Nice. That's also very worthy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm sure people also have questions. Maybe that's something that's worth doing. Josh, maybe you and I should do a little thing talking through the new rules and what's changed and what's gotten better. If you'd be interested, because it kind of makes sense that because you've already had a bit of a deep dive into them on RollTogether RPG. Both of us are going to be DMing with the new rules. Maybe it does make sense for us to jump in and do a bit of a chat about them at some point. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Could be good. People might be interested. So yeah, I'll hit up about that as well. That could be interesting to talk about. Yes, Jacob.
Awesome.
Far more importantly, the update to Slip Slop Slap occurred in 2007. This is not a new
Fuck.
update.
No. That's almost what? That's how many? 6?
Too
No.
many. 17.
17 years ago.
So,
Okay.
for everyone listening, in Australia, our national cancer is melanoma skin cancer. It's very well known.
By a terrifying margin. It's like melanoma hogs most of the graph, and then you've got everything else. Like our cancer
Yeah.
stats are displayed as melanoma and other for most of the stats. Because you can't, if you split the other cancers out, they're not on the graph. You can't see them. They're not there. Yeah, yikes.
So yeah, there's been a lot of campaigns to try and teach children sun safety. Obviously, we all know
With mixed success.
Yeah.
We stopped learning at 10 years old, apparently. No new information.
That was it. We peaked. Oh, yucks. 2007, Jacob.
Apparently.
That's really disappointing to hear.
It is so much our national cancer that if you go to cancer.org.au, it is just for sun safety. Like the entirety of cancer in Australia is just
for real. Like I'm not exaggerating. Like when you look at the graphs,
Cancer
you
Council
cannot fit other. You cannot fit any other cancers on the graph per population. It's not. They don't fit. It's just melanoma. It's I guess it's our national cancer, as Jacob said. Thank you for that, Jacob.
All right, let's move away from cancer now.
Let's slap it on our new coat of arms when we become a republican and secede from the British colonies. Finally, let's slap that on our coat of arms. The kangaroo could be holding it.
The kangaroo's punching the sun.
That's actually very patriotic. I think we should have that. Oh, and it should have the emus should have a whole bunch of British soldiers underneath them, standing on the British soldiers for the Great Emu War. I think I might design us a new coat of arms to make up for
National
this.
coat of
It's
arms.
pretty funny. Oh man.
Yeah, other Australian national fun fact is I think we're the only country that eats the animal on its coat of arms.
Yes.
Both of them. They're quite nice.
Yeah.
quite tasty.
It's very hard for whales.
What was that? Sorry.
It's very hard for whales to eat the
dragon.
animal.
Yeah, that's a bit tricky when it's a dragon.
Yeah.
It's harder for the US to eat
Maybe
stars, I
that's why there's
guess.
not any dragons anymore. Maybe
Yeah, that's why there's no dragons. The Welsh ate them all. Yeah,
They were
agreed.
Thanks, Wales.
I am actually my father's
Yeah, actually,
Welsh,
thank you,
so
Wales, if
quite,
that was
sorry
the
about that. I'm
case.
so sorry, guys. Dragon meat is yummy, and I really want it in my tummy. Is all I'm going to say. All right, let's do our recap and jump into the session. Our series has been following the adventures of the Tempest Adventuring Guild: Theo, Jonor, Tithla, Styx, and Killian. Having become trapped within the realm of Barovia while searching for some missing adventurers, the team are now preparing to take the fight to Strahd and Sergei. Now on a mission to recruit allies and arm themselves, the team have travelled to the ruined fortress of Arginvostholt. With the fortress once housing a noble order of knights led by a silver dragon, the team were hoping to find some assistance and possibly a fragment of Styx's sun sword within. Instead, the crumbling ruin houses only the dead, revenants unable to pass on and seemingly trapped in the memories of their deaths. Exploring the ground floor, the group stumbled upon a group of 3 of the undead knights patrolling a chapel. With combat seemingly inevitable, the group cleverly used the power of Styx's light to abate the aggression of these undead. The revenants now temporarily calmed, the team learns the leader of the knights, Vladimir Horngard, still resided within the fortress, and the team should try and speak with him. Ushering the knights into an unused room and barring the door while they remained passive, the team were now seemingly free to explore the rest of the fortress. Heading to the upper floors, they stumbled upon another corpse, this one dressed in even finer armor, slumped in a throne-like chair overlooking the grounds below. Styx recognized the body as Vladimir Hornsorrow, one of the officers of the Order of the Silver Dragon. With the Revenant awoken, the group tried to enlist his help, but found he was consumed by the same rage afflicting the other undead knights. Just as his fury seemed to be spurring him into attacking the party, another knight rushed into the room, trying to calm down Vladimir with mixed success. It was soon revealed this knight was Sir Godfrey Gwilym, husband of Vladimir, but due to the curse of undeath, Vladimir was no longer able to recognize him. Finding Godfrey far less affected by the rage and fury consuming the other revenants, the team were able to learn a little more about the fall of the knights. Discovering that the skull of Arginvost, the silver dragon leader, is currently being kept in Castle Ravenloft as a trophy, and that its return to the fortress may be the only way to break the curse upon the knights, the team now have their sights set upon Strahd's home. And not a moment too soon. A black carriage arriving outside the broken keep, led by a rather surprising figure. Grinner had returned to escort the party to Castle Ravenloft for dinner, revealing he had been spending some significant time trying to form an alliance with Strahd in the hopes of taking down Sergei. Feeling that something was a little off, Killian used his warlock powers to pierce through illusions and reveal Grinner was indeed now an undead. With this knowledge shared with the group, Grinner revealed that Strahd had indeed turned him into a vampire spawn. The team obviously were nervous about this development, so Grinner revealed a bit more information. That the village of Barovia had been brutally attacked each night by hordes of the undead, and that he was fearing for the safety of the villagers. Asking the party for assistance, either to help defend the town or for a safe place for the people to flee, Grinner beseeched the party for their aid, which they were obviously and understandably a bit reticent to give. We left off last session as the carriage arrived at the top of a small hill overlooking the town, the outer homesteads abandoned, and a large bonfire burning on the outskirts. Above, the walls of Castle Ravenloft looming out of the mists. And that is where we left off last session. We jump back in. Grinner and Killian at the front of the carriage sitting at the driver's seat. Grinner, the reins kind of loose in your hands. The horse is very well behaved and listening to your commands without too much prodding or poking. Killian sitting about as far away as he can on the narrow seat, pressed up against the handrest on the other side, I would say is fairly fair to say. Inside the carriage, Jonor, Theo, and Tithla looking out through the small window that borders into the back of the carriage, allowing them to see the town beyond. So, I pass over to all of you. Grinner, as you look down upon the town of Barovia, it's exactly how you remember it from last night. The bonfire in the center of the farmlands and the very outskirts of the village. The undead that have been slain are being piled up there and burned, as per your instructions. The palisade wall that is being constructed, progress is painfully slow. The wood needing to be chopped down and transported from the trees, which are now quite a distance away from the town. Over time, as the town has grown, the woodland hasn't had a chance to recover, and so the amount of trees needed to be cut down and shaped and transported back to form this palisade wall, they just don't have the manpower, and it's taking way too long. You can already see a couple of places, some of the main roads, they're not going to get this done in time for tonight. There's no way that this is going to be finished in time. In addition, one of the other houses that you recommended be burned, the people inside had been attacked and 2 of them had been killed during the night. You can see now a charred, smouldering remain is all that's left of that farmstead. So it looks like the people of Barovia have followed your instructions on that one.
This is what happens if we leave Sergei to do what he wants here. We can't leave this.
Well, I mean, it is not like your boss is doing anything about it.
Well, he's doing what he can, but there's only so much he can do with this power balance back and forth, right?
I suppose you are right. If people need help, we will help them, but I don't think there is much we can do this evening before we go see Strahd.
Yeah, look, maybe I'll not leave that decision up to me, but something's got to be done because this has been a regular thing, right? Every night.
That's true. Yeah, Grinner, every single night for the past couple of nights, this has been going on and getting worse each time. More and more undead. Powerful undead. I would say you would also know that last night, a creature composed of about 8 or 9 corpses kind of half merged together into this shambling monstrosity, arms and legs at weird angles, dragging itself across the ground, pulled itself over part of the palisade wall, and its remains were then skewered on the top of the palisade as you grabbed it and pulled down rapidly, causing the palisade walls to shoot up into its body and spear it. Each of the heads on that creature had to be basically cut off or had to be destroyed before it stopped moving and stopped wriggling. It was a hard creature to put down. It took time and effort. It's getting worse. Tithla.
Tithla is going to open the door to the cart and get out.
Perfect.
She's going to walk over or, jog over to the people who are working, and
Pretty
as they're going
far away at this point, you guys are up on a small hill looking down. The town's probably...
My bad. I misunderstood.
No, that's okay. No, that's fair enough. At the moment, you're sort of, I'd say maybe 400-500 feet away. Quite a distance. You're looking down from this hill down towards the front of the town.
Are we going that way? Does Tithla know if the path
So
goes
Grinner
that
has
way?
deliberately stopped the carriage at the crossroads where they turn off, down towards the town or up towards Castle Ravenloft. Because Castle Ravenloft sits on a hill overlooking the town. The town's almost always perpetually in its shadow.
No, never mind. My bad.
No, all good. I would say though, Tithla, given where you guys are, you can see there's a couple of people maybe 100 feet away at the edge of the forest line, the edge of the tree line, chopping down trees for the palisade wall. They've got a cart with a rather haggard and tired looking donkey at the front of it.
Yeah, great. Tithla says, I'll be back, and hops out and just very deliberately walks over to them to just give them some words of encouragement. You guys are doing a good job. It'll, well done. And to cast guidance on them, just to help their strength for just a moment.
As you get over there, Tithla, the 2 figures who are cutting down the trees and trying to put them on the logs, one of them looks to be in his probably, I'd say, late 60s. He is an older gentleman. Very large bald patch on the top of his head. The hair that he's kind of left along his crown and the top of his forehead is greyed and a bit patchy. He does have a rather impressive grey-white speckled beard, however. The figure next to him has the same kind of bulbous nose, larger ears. You think probably a grandson, judging by the looks of him, maybe early 20s, maybe late teens. And he's sort of doing most of the manual labor. The grandfather seems to be sort of giving him directions. And as you come over and call out those words of encouragement, both of them sort of turn towards you. Immediately sort of a look of surprise as they look down and see a small green-skinned goblin girl standing there, smiling up at them, giving them like a big thumbs up and words of encouragement.
You got this.
He watches the boy like puts his hand on his axe. The grandfather puts a hand on his shoulder and goes, no, it's okay. Thank you, lass. You're an outlander, I see.
What? I mean, technically, but aren't we all outlanders in a sense?
No, I've been here since I was born. My father before him, and his father before him, many generations back.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you're not an outlander. Maybe it's just me. Well, the spirit of the outlanders be with you.
How does anything visually magical happen when you cast Guidance, Tithla, or is it more just the emotional support?
It's the touch. It's the like pat on the back is what is doing it.
No jar of clay for this one, or
Don't be silly. It was a bag of dirt. Okay. Can you show some respect? Okay. It's not hard. Yeah, Tithla's going like giving him a pat on the back, and in that, casting Guidance to just help them get that little boost. Even though it will only be short-lived, it'll help, hopefully.
Yeah, 100%. You watch as the young lad sort of, with his grandfather kind of giving him a bit of encouragement, like, oh, it's fine. She's an outlander, my son, my boy. You haven't seen a green outlander yet, but you will again. As he pats him on the shoulder. You watch as the grandson kind of nods and then goes back. And Tithla, there is renewed energy as he begins wailing into this tree. Couple more swings, and you hear the telltale crack as the tree begins to fall, crashing down into the forest below. As the grandson goes, "Oh, excellent! Oh, good. Now we must trim off the larger branches and twigs," and begins leading him over to deal with that.
All right. Good luck.
While Tithla's gone, because this probably would take Tithla, I'd say like a good 15 minutes. Like, let's say 7 minutes to wander over, a minute to cast Guidance, say a few words, and then fuck off, and then 7 minutes to walk back. Grinner,
And the
Jonor.
5-minute awkward introduction.
So let's say 20 minutes. Grinner, Jonor, Theo, and Killian. What would the four of you be doing during this time?
I think Theo probably would have been almost meditating. I mean, when he came into Barovia, he had been immediately inspired by the way Grinner was able to channel fury through him for, positive benefit. And that's something Theo wanted to apply to, protecting the wild spaces and his friends. But seeing Grinner like this, while Theo's not giving up that he's going to get his friend back, I think that rage that he had in him would have just died down.
Yeah. And it was already kind of dying a bit since the Druids, right? Like,
but that's it as well. Once
Theo's main rage was at the Black Druids, the scourge of the Druid circles, the Druid circle that must be annihilated. Like, your hatred for Black Druids runs so deep, it's ingrained within your very soul. And with the Black Druids of Barovia seemingly annihilated, you have found it a lot harder to call upon that rage again. I mean, when it was directed at the Black Druids, it was really easy to call upon and find that anger within you. But every other enemy in comparison is kind of like, like I hate you, but not like I hate the Black Druids. You got to understand.
The target of fury gone, the inspiration for using it for a positive change is colder in and of itself at the moment. So I think that part of Theo might be dying down a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he'd just be sitting there quietly, minding his own business.
Yeah, and that's a really good narrative way to explain the changeover to the slightly new rule set that doesn't involve a barbarian dip. I like it a lot. It's a very good narrative explanation. I mean, 100%. That's absolutely for you to do. If we'd done the switch over, I think if we'd known that the new rules were going to come out back at the Gothias tree and that the new Druid would be kind of good, I would have offered you right at that moment a chance to drop your Barbarian levels and take them as Druid levels instead for achieving that goal and for kind of re-engaging with your Druid circle. Makes just a sense that you've done it during this time, and seeing Grinner as kind of the final moment where that change occurs within your heart, within your soul. Perfect. Yeah. Jonor and Killian and Grinner. What be your desires? Silence, it appears.
I'm happy to run with this one.
Jonor.
Oh, you go.
Sure. Hey, well, Grinner. So we're mentioning you've mentioned that we're going to we're going to dinner tonight, but the town just over here is in trouble. Should we be, rather than having dinner and pleasantries, should we just go there instead? Like, is that what were you directed to do?
Yeah, and actually, Owen, I do want to check in on that as well. Is with the rate of these attacks and what the people have been able to hold off so far, is it likely that they're going to make it through a few more days and the palisades will hold for now, or is it kind of like tonight's the night that
Strahd? So you had this conversation with Strahd. Strahd initially was of the opinion that, I mean, these people don't want him as their leader. They don't really serve him in any way, shape, or form. Like he offered some help. They kind of refused it under no certain circumstances. The help he's been offering has been through you. He was kind of willing at this point to go, well, look, I've done everything I can. If you're not letting me help, there's nothing more I can do. You did, however, convince him that in your absence, with you not there to protect the town tonight, he needs to send 2 other vampire spawn, other adventurers that have been turned, to protect the town, at least for this night. You know that as soon as you arrive back at the castle with your group, they will be dispatched.
Okay.
Was there anything else you would have negotiated for? Because you do have some saying power here. If there's anything else Grinner would have wanted to negotiate, you let me know.
Yeah, freedom.
I'm watching Jacob and Josh be like, what is going on here? What is the relationship here? Good question.
I probably would have at least tried to negotiate getting more supplies into the town to keep that side of things running while everyone's putting effort into fighting in the palisade. No one would be collecting food and whatnot. So if we could be sending out, little hunting parties and whatnot to bring in more animals and stuff like that.
Yes. In terms of the harvest, after the first attack, I would actually say probably one of Grinner's directives was you harvest everything right now, and then we lock off the farms. That's it. Like, whatever state it's in, because this is classic like siege tactics, right? As soon as you've got an enemy besieging a location, you remove all of the supplies that you can from outside the walls and have everything inside, so that you've got all the supplies you need for a siege. That'd be very, very much a Grinner decision. Hunting though is a very, very good thing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There has been an agreement that one of those spawn will spend some time hunting animals and bringing them back to the town for meat. Maybe a couple of deer, whatever else they can get. Yeah, one of the spawns being given that. An ex ranger hunter spawn. I would actually
by the name of Damien.
Not by the name of Damien. Sorry, not a hunter. Sorry, a rogue. You actually would know. You would know this spawn. Silas Slackjaw. It's the name of the rogue who's being sent out. One of Strahd's adventurers who he's turned. Same as you.
Great. Jonor, yeah, look, we will be all right tonight. We've got things covered for the moment. I'm kind of the main line of defence in the town as far as anything goes, but we will be all right for tonight. We've got other contingencies in place for that, but
I'm glad to hear.
Well, yeah, but we're still only going to get so far over the next few days. So yeah, got time for dinner, but if you are going to help out, and I think the only way to do that really is to either find a way to stop these hordes from coming in or get the people out. We're going to have to do something about that in the near future.
Mate, I completely agree with that one. Just having these shamblings just go over these walls, and that large creature described with multiple heads is just ferocious. So, look, I think we'd be pretty happy to help defend the town. I'd say that.
Yeah, well, we'll need to find out where the fuck they're all coming from, or get the people out. But we can dwell on that tomorrow once you lot have had a chat with a certain someone in a certain castle.
Yeah, well,
like Case playing coy.
So, how long has it been since the last dinner? Like, how many dinners have there been since you've been there?
Well, Owen, you might be able to answer this.
Formal party dinners, none, Grinner, none. This is a significant event. How many there's been before this, you don't know. But this is a significant event. Being invited for dinner with Strahd. I mean, and you know that behind the scenes, there's a lot of preparation that's gone into this night. The main dining hall has been completely overturned over the last sort of day or so. Rahadin has been almost unbearable in his ordering about of the servants and the other spawn to make them get things ready. Yeah, this is a serious undertaking. This is important. Strahd is taking this seriously, and his staff are as well.
This sort of shit doesn't happen too often, mate. I think there's something special going on here with us, with you lot. Yeah.
Oh, so about us, because there's many adventurers that wander through. Like, I'm not sure what makes us any different. I mean, surely there was like the Mad Mage back in the day. He would have been a big event, but yeah, us.
Yeah, it all comes down to disruption, mate, and you lot are fucking good at it. But the boss man will fill you in.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I don't have anything, Owen. Anything too narrative-wise. I have the divination hasn't changed a whole lot.
No.
So not a whole lot to report there, except for wizard rests are stronger now. So
most of the changes are buffs. That's it. Like, you kind of may you may as well kind of take the new rule. So yeah, no, divination wizard hasn't changed really much at all, and wizard on a whole, like nothing crazy.
A couple more divination spells per level up. So
I've
subbed in one divination spell in place of another one.
What did you take as your divination spell? We'll say that you learned it from your cursed spellbook.
Locate object. So
nice. Always
we've
good.
been doing lots of
Always
locating
good.
things.
Yeah.
So
always useful.
6 just before, and yeah.
That'll come in handy for sure. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, well, wait for Tithla to jump back in.
Yeah, you can see Tithla starting to make her way back. Killian, was there anything you wanted to say or do during this time?
I think I would have jumped down off of the seat, left Jonor and Grinner to that conversation, moved over to the edge of the sort of hill that we're on to look overlooking Barovia, and I'll just be looking at strategic positions for people to be placed. Like, is there a roof of a building where some archers could be placed that could, like, if anything tries to get in, could they look to do that, just to see if there's any sort of additional things that could be done to try and help the town.
Let's actually roll for how well Grinner has prepared this town. Grinner, could I get you to roll for me a military knowledge check? What would this be? Let's have a quick peekaroo. History
with advantage because of his background.
Kind of fits. I'd say
with proficiency.
Survival?
I'd say survival. I was going to say survival's a good one. History does also kind of make sense as well. I'd also argue
perception.
I'd argue perception as well. I agree. So I'm going to say your choice.
Insight?
Not so much insight. That's more to read body language rather than like a location. More perception and investigation for reading a physical location. Raph, your choice here, dealer's choice. You can either choose to roll history with advantage, survival with advantage, or perception. The perception's sort of not so much with advantage because it's more relying on your insight, but I'd say survival and history are both relying on your years of service with a military outfit. So yeah, either one of those with advantage, your choice.
I think survival makes the most sense because
I agree.
survived it all.
I was leaning more towards survival anyway, because it's kind of like, yeah, it does fit really well with that. 4 for the first one. Quite grateful for the survival at this point. 10, it's still not amazing.
Oh, great.
Killian. Grinner has made definitely some efforts, but the efforts Grinner's made is more kind of a suitable for, I would say, defending and guarding a military outpost. This is a town. It's a bit different. There are lots more weaknesses. There are lots more openings that Grinner hasn't quite accounted for, that he's probably assumed soldiers would cover just by themselves. And he's not felt the need to kind of let the town know, oh, by the way, you need to shutter any windows that are like outwardly facing from the palisade wall. Because that's so fucking obvious. They should know how to do that. There's a town full of scared people. Killian, there's no way they're going to know to do that kind of shit. Not in the moment. Not when there's other stuff going on. Not when there's so many other things in their minds. There's going to be those kind of stupid mistakes, like sealing up a sewer grate, making sure the well is covered. There's going to be stuff they're not doing. In terms of rooftops that archers could be positioned, there is one nest that Grinner has set up for archers that is a really good spot. It's right in the center of town. They've got views down most of the main roads. There is one floor that you notice with it and another location that might be better suited. This one is out in the open. So far, most of the undead that have been charging the town, it sounds like they've been ground-based. They've been mindless creatures assaulting the walls. There's no guarantee that'll be the case, and any airborne enemy could destroy any archers in this nest, could take out the nest very, very quickly. There is another spot on the roof of the church, half hidden by the shadow of the spire with the bell above it, where they could at least have some protection from one direction, and if they put a roof over the top of them, they could also potentially have protection from above if there was to be any other assault. That would be the main things that you kind of notice. Any other specific kind of questions around that you wanted to kind of look for, Killian, in terms of protection from the town? Otherwise, the palisade wall is I mean, it's makeshift, but that's what it's going to be.
Does it go around the entire?
Not yet.
Town?
It is currently being constructed. Most of the main open areas are being covered, but there are holes still in it, and you can see sections where the palisade wall is varying in quality and construction, shall we say, as multiple hands make work of trying to get this up. But to be perfectly honest, Killian, the main thing you kind of take away as you look over this, Grinner's done a pretty damn good job. If he's been doing this alone, if he's been coordinating this entire protection by himself, this is a man who's either a military genius or has lived through enough things to have picked up. Like, this is what I did to survive, this is how it works, basically.
What do you think? It's this what didn't work?
Yeah. Yeah. This don't work, don't do this. Like, don't fucking waste your time on this, lads. Basically. Yeah.
I'll just wait for Jonor and Grinner's conversation to end, and then I'll just turn back to Grinner and go, how much time until we actually have to have dinner with Strahd?
Owen?
Oh, as soon as the carriage arrives, I mean, dinner is ready to go. The servants have the entree prepared. It's a cold entree, so it doesn't need to be served hot. But the arrival of the guests will trigger. I know, Jacob. It's all right. You can rest easy. Tithla's going to enjoy a nice gazpacho. You know that the dinner is ready, so that once the guests arrive, the kitchens will begin preparing the main meal, which is going to be served hot.
He has a chef on retainer there for what purpose?
You have no idea, Theo. You don't know any of this. Grinner knows this, though. I know this. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, look, you don't have really any time to be fucking around now. Dinner's waiting. but we do have things covered for the moment. We got some other of the lands on it, so it will be all right for this evening.
The only thing I'll add, Grinner, you know that until dinner is concluded, until the party are safely returned back, as per the agreement, to where you picked them up, you are not allowed to return to the town to help them. You are on party escort duty. As soon as the dinner is concluded and the rest of the party are dropped back at our Ginvost Holt safely, you may then return to help assist the town. And you know, out of all of the spawn, you're kind of the only one who gives a shit about these people, Grinner. Kind of the only one. The others will do what they're told, but not create. They won't be creative with it. Whereas you know you will.
I don't pass that on.
Cool. I figured that was Grinner only knowledge. But yeah, you know that the time limit, and you know that time limit is a hard time limit. As long as you are tied to the party looking after them, you're not there helping these people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pass over the information that you shared about the little hot gaps and things, and potentially having another sort of crow's nest. Not moving the original one, but having a secondary one that is basically focused on the one blind spot that the other one has, and also looking at for aerial defense as well. So they've just got two different options. And then I don't know, Grinner, and once all of that's said, I don't know if it's a good idea, Grinner, but if have you thought about a bottleneck situation? Trying to is there a contingency plan for if they manage to get through?
And now he's given up the bottle.
Palisade?
Grinner, you better know this is a kill corridor.
Yeah, look, it hasn't come up yet. We've managed to keep them on the right side of the palisade, and given the fact that the town has been set up not to be behind any fucking walls prior to this, it does make things a little tricky. It's not a bad idea, though. It's something we can definitely look into if you see some other points. And to those points you've made, mate, can you just, while we're trotting along for the rest of this, write those down so we've got it on paper? I'll get that passed along. I think they're good points.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. You might want to consider to have a kill zone, or as it were, as a backup, maybe having some volunteer musicians act as decoys to draw the undead to them, so that civilians can get to a rally point, as it were, a large building like a town hall or the mansion or the tavern or something, so that they can barricade themselves in there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good point. Good point. I do kind of forget about the women and children sometimes. We got most of the men and the older lads on, with swords or sticks or whatever the fuck.
A lot of pitchforks, a lot of rakes, shovels, mattocks.
From the general store there, because he was fucked. I'm surprised they're getting these undead are any issue at all if that guy's still hanging around.
Actually, that is a good point, Grinner. You have been able to rely on the strength of a certain Barovian who has been rather terrifying. However, his father has been quite restrictive in how much help he has been able to provide. Yeah.
No shock there.
Interesting. Absolute. As you continue making your way along, Tithla rejoins the party. Obviously, you don't just take off. Tithla kind of jogging behind the cart, trying to catch up.
Gone.
Off to go hang out with Damien. As Tithla does rejoin the carriage, and you go, sorry, was that to me, Jacob? Sorry, mate.
Too far. There's a line, Owen.
I'm pleased to know I found it. Now I can safely step across it and keep heading whichever direction I want. As Tithla makes it back to the carriage, and you will begin making your way down along the main road up towards Castle Ravenloft. Theo, what's your passive perception? You're the only one who was kind of spending some time focused
18.
in wood. 18. That is what I like to hear. Theo, as the carriage begins trundling up towards the large, I would say, mountainside that Castle Ravenloft is perched upon. It's definitely not a hill. This is a large, overarching drop off before it reaches the town of Barovia. As you begin making your way up the incline towards the castle gates, you just happen to be glancing out the window of the carriage, looking down at the town, not really focusing, more just, when you're in a car ride, your mind sort of wanders and your eyes are taking in the details, and occasionally you see something that kind of grabs your attention for a moment. You see something, a figure, very familiar. For a second, you think you caught a glimpse of a woman with ears poking out from her hair, dressed in pink, white, and brown armor and clothing. And as you focus and look, can't see her, sort of tracking out, and then suddenly you see her again, talking to a group of Barovians, pointing to the palisade wall. Sen is down in the town of Barovia, and it looks like she's pointing up at the sniper's nest that Grinner has kind of allocated, and is now pointing at the palisade wall. Seems to be in deep conversation with a couple of Barovians.
How far away would she be?
You're sort of looking
20 feet?
Oh, probably just outside. I was going to say about 200 feet away at this point, because you're sort of coming up to the point where you're looking down over the precipice as the road narrows to reach the edge of this cliff face as it looks down over the edge of the town. You can see her down there.
Okay, but she looks like she's getting prepared to aid in the defenses.
It looks like you can see her animatedly pointing and trying to. It looks like she's trying to communicate something, and there's a lot of energy there. Like as you look down, you can see that she's pointing quite enthusiastically. You can see a couple of the villagers kind of shake their heads for a moment. She nods and points again, like she's clearly trying to communicate something, and they are agreeing. You watch as the shakes sort of begin come nods. They begin to sort of like agree, and you see a group move off, begin to grab large logs and head over to where she's pointing. Another group seem to be grabbing arrows and quivers and heading up towards the sniper's nest. Looks like she's organizing something.
Well, then, confused as to why she never made it to Ginvostholt, but seeing that she is safe, I'm going to carry on my way up. I was going to try and send a message to her. I fear that if I can't send that, it's probably too far to shout, and that would be kind of weird anyway.
It's a big old distance.
Why didn't you show up?
What?
Yes, I'll probably just leave it for now, knowing that she is at least safe and alive for now, and that if she is there, the town has a better shot at surviving. We'll take care of the business with the dinner, and if we can get back there after the dinner to help, or the following day, then I'll check up on her then.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect. Brilliant. As you begin making your way up the main pathway, Grinner, as you get close to the gates of Castle Ravenloft, you know that the gates are going to open for this carriage. As they stand there before the pathway, these are imposing gates of iron, wrought and bent into extravagant, beautiful shapes, swirling patterns, each one easily 30 feet tall. These are enormous iron gates, enough to hold off an army for sure. But as you approach effortlessly, no men, no women, no people behind to open them. As the carriage approaches, you watch as the gates just swing wide, allowing the carriage entry. And as you pass through into the shadow of the castle, as it looms over you, the walls now closing off the space around you. The gates close silently behind you. No rusted iron screech, no clang. Completely silent as the gates swing shut. Before they do, though, you notice pale, faint figures, barely visible. Almost like ghosts or spirits. As the gate closes, they vanish, standing around the outside of the walls.
While we were trundling up the road,
yeah,
I would like to do one of my new druid things and summon my wild companion. So
yes.
It's like a little familiar. It's Fae, and it is going to be a frog reminiscent of the 6 years I spent as one.
Yeah, checks out. As you summon a frog as your phase spirit, you concentrate, you feel the magic coalesce. Does it look like a frog, or is it like made out of wood and vines? Is it like a partially transparent spirit, or does it?
Yeah,
what does it look like?
it's a fey spirit, so bit not fully opaque, a little bit translucent.
Yeah, do you want to have like bioluminescent stripes or patches on its skin, maybe the tips of its fingers?
Brightly coloured, kind of like what you'd expect for a fey animal.
Yeah,
regular frog, but just someone else, kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
Ethereal frog.
Do you want to even have like the patterns on its back making a shape that would be like impossible in nature, like a face or like a skull or like a swirling vortex? Or
since it's modelled of my time,
two goat horns
on the back. Yeah, it's got the patterns on its back make the swirl of my horns.
Do you want it to have two tiny goat horns as well, like a bullfrog? You can call it like or a goat frog. Do you want to? It's up to you. I'm thinking like, how can we make it?
I do.
Fantastic. It's also got two tiny goat horns, and it's got goat eyes rather than like the horizontal. Oh yeah, no, frogs also have horizontal irises too. It's just goat. It's just got goat and frog eyes are the same. Yeah. Or later the hypnotoad. Yeah, it's got these like classic frog eyes.
But yeah, he did that, and I'll just tuck him into my pocket.
Perfect. Good use of your time. Good use of your time for sure. Yes, we did have Foxtrot resummon Sen. We do have another community summon NPC I've been waiting for a good time to introduce. We have almost reached that time. Do not fear obscenities. The NPC is on its way. We have almost reached that time. So, as you arrive at the front door, there is an opulent stable yard set up in front of the castle. The main open courtyard that stands inside the walls is huge. Easily, 30 carriages could be parked here. A whole ballroom filled with guests, visiting nobles and dignitaries from other lands. But it's empty. Eerily empty. The fountain in the very center, no water flows, it is dry, unkempt. The rest of the castle as well, it doesn't look run down, but there is an air of age and decay that belies how long this has stood here. Stains from water running down the crenellations out from the mouths of the gargoyles that wrap around the roof of the building to allow water to flow from the tiled roof. Water stains run down the walls. You can see where they've been cleaned time and time again, but have continually come back time and time again. Up around the edges of the mouths, what look like sharp teeth on the gargoyles are actually tiny stalactites. Years, decades, hundreds of years of water runoff slowly eroding the stone and depositing minerals from the roof onto these statues. The stone itself looks old as well. Sections have crumbled, and you can see mortar has been applied to various locations to fix and repair. But this entire place feels, decayed is the word. Ancient and decayed. As you pull up, Grinner pulling back on the reins in the very center of the courtyard, you watch as a hooded figure emerges from the stables. Grinner, this is the stable hand. You don't know their name. You've never seen their face. All you've seen are the pale three-fingered hands that emerge from the robes when they come and harness and unhitch the horses. You watch again as the stable hand emerges, the very pale fingers emerging as it reaches around, takes the bridles and begins to unhitch the horses. The horses don't seem too bothered by this creature, but you've always found it a bit unnerving to be near, for sure. Doesn't say anything. All you hear is the rasping breathing as it continually goes about its work, unhitching the horses and getting the carriage ready to be put away for the evening. You have arrived. You may lead the party into the castle.
I do that.
Any words? How would you kind of be talking this through?
Yeah, I will gesture for Killian to hop off so I can get down beside him. And then I'll go around and I'll open the door for the others and let everyone pile out. Say, well, this is us then. Follow along. I do recommend not wandering off round here. Bad shit tends to happen with that, so just stick close.
I mean, were we not promised that we would return safely?
Yeah, if you do what you're supposed to.
No, I do not believe that was part of the agreement. I believe we agreed to come to the dinner and we would leave safely, irrespective of what we do or do not choose to do.
I mean, look, maybe that's between you and the boss. I wasn't there for that.
It was
Theo,
on the card, wasn't it? The
Theo,
invitation?
you know that the deal was, if you follow these rules, I will too. Like, if you behave respectfully, start no fights, I will return you safely, and I will start. Like, you know, this was a reciprocal agreement. It's not like you have a sudden free pass in Castle Ravenloft. You know that's not the case.
I think theft, like imitation, is the highest form of flattery. So I think it is quite respectful.
Sorry, you think theft, like imitation, is the highest form of flattery?
I know. I feel very flattered when people steal my shit.
Because you have nice shit. People want nice shit. It's a compliment.
I do.
You don't steal bad shit, do you?
I do have a funny aside story about stealing, and I don't know if this is the time or place for it, but it is quite funny. One of our neighbors had 4 cars stolen from them. 4 cars, not in the same night, bought all by the same people. Maybe those people really admired them.
Well, they just came back like, fuck, this is just so easy, man.
So
it'd be offensive not to steal another one.
So the door was left open. They came and took the keys, stole 2 of the cars. So the people were like, "Oh no, our car's been stolen. The keys have been stolen. Better not take the cars anywhere else, or put them in a garage. Better not talk too loud in case they can hear. Better not like put the cars anywhere
So
safe."
they had 4 cars there.
They had 4 cars at their house. The 2 cars that were out got stolen. So they took the 2 cars that were in the garage and left them out the next night, and they got stolen. I don't. Just thought you'd enjoy that tale. It's a funny one. I had a bit of a chuckle. I don't know.
How did you manage to hide 4 cars?
Me. It's why I'm so red. I'm stressed, man. I'm sweating. Cops will be around any second. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Just.
Imagine the balls to steal cars and just park it like from your neighbor and park it in your driveway.
I think my favorite part is how they're going to explain this to the insurance. Like.
That was my thought. You call up insurance. It's like
the 2 cars were stolen. Yeah, okay.
The next day, I had 2 cars stolen. No, we've already got that case open.
No.
We need to open another one for 2 stolen cars.
You'd be amazed how often that sort of shit does actually happen, Like, as someone in
Oh,
motor
Raph, you might have to
insurance,
deal with this. I
that's-
think they're into it with ICQ. You're going to have to take this one, mate.
Alright, it's obviously a scam.
Oh, it's just because in their defense, one of the cars that was stolen the second night. This is the better bit. They thought it was broken and they they couldn't start it. So the thieves came and fixed it and stole it, which is just next level.
Oh my
it's pretty
God.
good.
So if they come back in better shape than they
Come back, it's got nice new rims. Had the engine's been cleaned, oil change's been done, logbook's been ticked off for another year.
Stolen by a mechanic.
Like appreciated in value, like.
Yeah, just a funny story I thought you'd all enjoy. I didn't believe this. I had to double check it. It is true. This is exactly what happened, which I just am blown away by.
It's wild.
Only in Australia. Probably not. Probably happens everywhere. Pretty funny story though. Sorry. So Theo, your plan is to steal from Strahd because that's the sincerest way you can flatter him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. No dramas.
As long as we're on board with that, I'll take your cool as a.
Oh, Theo, I'm your subconscious. Theo, there's no.
That'll work, and if it doesn't, then I'll blame you, the DM, for that now.
No. I'm your subconscious right now. You don't see any issues with this logic. It's flawless. This is absolutely spot on. I mean, if you really like something and you want it more than the other person, it's yours really by that point. I mean, and you take it from them. Yeah, you do them a favor. 100%. Just like those cars.
So yeah, I'll lead the others towards the front doors, unless anyone has any other points they wanted to make.
Grinner, where did he get the chefs from? I assume it's usually a more liquid diet around the castle. he hires them from Barovia or Vallaki, but just for tonight, I mean,
But not be.
I'm quite flattered if he hired something in just for us.
Oh, and what do I know about the chef?
You know that one of the vampire spawn is going to be cooking dinner tonight, and they have assistance from two of the people from one of the taverns in Vallaki, been brought over and been paid quite a nice sum of gold to help out. Ale has been sourced from one of the taverns as well. You know, some wine has been. Wine is always in good supply at Castle Ravenloft for sure. Wine is always on the menu. Good red, yeah, no whites. But they're don't read into that. What is wrong with you? We're talking about wine, but there is also. I stand by it anyway. Just Red's here tonight. So as I point to my sunburnt face for podcast listeners for your enjoyment. Yes, I am still sunburnt. Thank you, Chad, as well, for pointing it out earlier. I did address it at the beginning of the session, but there must have been those of you who felt it was necessary to bring it up again. Yes, I'm sunburnt. Yeah.
The question is Owen having hot flashes?
I am going through menopause, yes. Grinner, you know that there are two chefs who have been brought in from Vallaki to assist. Paid quite nicely, as far as you're aware. It seemed like a fairly good deal. You weren't sent to go and collect them, but you saw them arrive with some of their utensils, some of their cooking supplies, as well as crates of food, fresh fruit and veg, as well as some meat brought in.
Yeah, they were outsourced, mate. We got a couple from the villages, and we got one of the staff around here helping out as well.
None of those dream pastries, right?
Oh, I hope not.
Rubber dodge on that.
Right, well, shall we go see our host?
Follow me then, you lot.
Grinner, as you walk up to the large, imposing front doors, I will read out a little excerpt as you arrive, just to get you into the zone. The ornate outer doors of the castle slowly swing open, fluttering torches sputtering in the wind. You can see inside a grand hall, sound of music filtering out, louder as the doors open, played on what must be an impressive organ. Mournful, melancholy, the music swells and rises before fading down quietly. Standing to attention, inside the doorway, you see a familiar figure, Rahadin, dressed in a very smart, elegant black suit, hair immaculately swept back, pale skin glinting, almost shining in the light of the torches on either side. You watch as Rahadin, with his hands behind, slowly bows as the five of you arrive. Yes, welcome, Grinner. As he pulls out a pocket watch, you watch the silver face flip open as he looks at the time. You hear the ticking emerging from inside. Acceptable. This was very acceptable work.
Cheers, mate.
Are you wearing that to dinner? As he looks you up and down.
What the fuck's wrong with it?
The master instructed formal wear for tonight's event. But I guess, as he looks over the rest of you, you won't be alone in your state of preparedness for tonight. Would our esteemed guests appreciate a chance to get changed to something more befitting the night's events? Or shall they
I didn't
come
bring a
as they
change of
are?
clothes.
Do you have some clothes for us to wear? I mean, sadly, while your castle is quite nice, the rest of the land of Barovia has been somewhat bereft of fine dining opportunities. So if you have something formal for us to wear, I'm sure we'd all love to get changed.
Of course. We have many fine accoutrements for sirs and madame to find themselves appropriately. Clothing of a more appropriate nature.
You just have to say that.
I did. That sirs and madam may find themselves changed into. I shall lead thee to the changing room so that you may find yourselves in a state of dress. Please remain within, and I will go and find things appropriate for your size and build.
If you have anything very formal, that would be greatly appreciated.
Sir, insinuating that we do not have things prepared for all manner of guests. This is Castle Ravenloft. We are prepared for any guest and welcoming to all.
Yeah, I knew it said it on the front, like it said Castle Ravenloft outside.
But there was no sign saying welcoming to all. While I do appreciate the hospitality, welcoming to all is not exactly the reputation we've been led to believe in our travels around here.
Indeed. One would have thought that idle gossip and rumour would be discounted as quickly as it is heard. Civilized gentleman or lady of means does not sully themselves with such tasks, picking through gossip and chit-chat. Surely one prefers to make their own opinions and judgments rather than let others do it for them.
Have you tried gossip? It's pretty fun.
No. I content myself
give it a
with
go.
running this castle and the staff within it.
Well, that's a great opportunity. There's so many people that you can talk to, hear what they have to say and think and the things that they've seen. And then what the best part is when somebody tells somebody else and then you hear it from them, but they've misinterpreted it. So it's different and you have to try and work out what the truth is. It's so much fun.
Perhaps we can find the muzzle as part of your outfit.
I can still talk through a muzzle. That's generally for stopping the biting. Arr.
One, she can definitely still talk through her muzzle. Two, if you insinuate that she is to stop talking again, we will all depart and your evening will be ruined.
Sir.
She is one of us and she will be treated with respect. Now please, to the close, sir.
Follow. Grinner,
I give Tithla a little
you
pat on the
should
back.
as well accompany us, unless you would prefer to retire to your rooms and get changed to something more appropriate. I laid out this evening's gown for you on this chair. Clearly, you felt no need to examine.
Well, yeah, I did really look at what sort of shit you got lying around my room, mate. But yeah, if that's what you want and that's what the boss wants, then so be it. I will get myself changed. I'll just, yeah, no worries.
If one could forget one's worries so swiftly. Follow at once. Grinner, you will meet us down here in 15 minutes, no later. As he closes the
Hello,
door.
lad.
As they turn to walk off, I'm just going to mutter to Theo, knowing full well that the butler can still hear, and just say,
Look, if you're going to have a gripe with the way things are run, are you going to talk to the dog or the master?
I have no gripe with the way things are being run, just with the way he treated our friend.
Grinner, can you make me a stealth check, please? Or are you happy for
I think
Rahadin
he's
to
trying
hear this?
fail.
no, I'm saying it quiet enough to make it seem as though I'm not saying it within hearing, but yeah, I know
Grinner,
that you can hear it.
I will add this before you commit 100% to this course of action. You know that Rahadin outranks you in the castle, and that if you push him too far, there will be consequences for you that you will not enjoy. There are limits to what you can get away with Rahadin. I'm just going to say that. 100% if you want to commit, please do, because it's going to be fucking hilarious for me. I just want to make sure you know. Because Grinner would know this, Raph might not necessarily know this.
Grinner really doesn't like the stuffy bastard.
No, absolutely not. Guys, I can't. Like, let's go. So, thumbs up.
Yeah, commit.
Awesome. Rahadin pauses for but a moment and then continues walking.
Grinner's gonna scuttle off going, shit, that might have been a mistake. Don't get dressed.
So, I mean, I agree. He was a stuffy bastard, and if he talks to Tithla like that, if you think it's worth it, I can bring it up with the master instead of the dog. But it was the dog that I took issue with his bark, not so far the master.
I'm gonna clap Theo on the shoulder and nod and head off.
I was like, grab Tithla, do not listen to them. You're always free to speak your mind. Rambling, though it may sometimes be.
I understand sometimes I probably shouldn't, but I don't generally work that out until after. So, I try.
And then Jonor takes a couple of steps over and is like, you're free to speak your mind, but just remember the notepad, who to not mention. Speak your mind, just not those ones, all right?
It was a long trip. I wrote a lot of names and a lot of ticks and it's hard to find people in this list.
Thank God.
Very long.
Just us four is just safe, all right? Us four
Okay.
is always safe. Is
Okay.
usually safe.
Usually safe. I love how quickly this is getting adjusted. It's usually safe, sometimes safe. It's not safe. It's not safe, Tithla. You're not safe. You're not safe, Tithla.
I have faith that you know what would be damaging and unsafe to tell people. I trust that you would know. I have faith in you, Jacob.
Thanks.
Sorry, who's talking right now?
Sorry, Jacob.
Yes, much better.
We know that there's people that Tifta doesn't want to get hurt. So
Yes. Shall we go change? Let's see what clothes they have for us. Perhaps they have something from your homeworld, Killian, that you could try on.
hopefully, I'm hoping
Or you
so.
could try traditional Nostayan formal wear, or whatever they have for here in Barovia.
Now, when you say traditional Nostayan formal wear, I can see that you're very lacking in the bottom half department.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
I have not originally one Nostaya. I've not been to a fancy do on Nostaya. In the Fae Realm, what you usually go without.
Theo is in Fey Realm formal
bottom or
right now.
top. You go up. Well, what one is usually missing is that you dress up the other half to the nines.
Everyone's pantless in the Fae Realm.
Or topless. No. You're laughing, Raph, but actually a fair old chunk of the Fey Realm is either pantless or topless. Fable, as we're going to call it, formal Fey, Fable, is very lacking in the formal department and in the clothing department. It's the
You're
Fey Wilds,
saying
mate.
that this is the formal wear for Nostaya's version of the Fey.
No, this is casual wear. Can you not tell us this is casual wear?
I mean, it's strange for me because where I come from, the Feywild, as we call it, most people tend to be rather naked.
But yeah, that's why it's
in their plane.
We put on something. Though this is just for adventuring. You can't adventure naked. You get caught in all sorts of things.
Killian, the Feywild that Theo's from is the same Feywild. You know, it's the same realm. There is the Feywild is the same throughout all the areas. Those who
Killian's not connected those dots.
Oh, fair. No, fair. Very fair.
If I've learned anything about the Feywild, you just make it up, and it's true.
Canon. Because it's the Fae,
Yeah.
right? The tricksy. Things change, things adapt. That's actually not a bad description of the Fae. It's like it's all just legend and innuendo anyway with the Fae. It just changes constantly. I'm going to bring you across to a map, not because you need to know anything right now, but just because I need you on a location. That might help. Currently, where I've positioned you is just in the main foyer. I will open up the doors for the area that you've just walked through and the courtyard beyond, because you have just come through those areas, so you can see them currently. I'll just open those up.
So we're inside the castle itself, then we're not outside still.
No, so as you move through those large double doors that I described earlier, that was the entry into the castle. You've arrived into the Great Hall, or at least into the entryway to the Great Hall. It looks like there are steps leading up to an area above, and a corridor heading down towards the south, as well as two large doors leading towards the east. Rahadin, who is with you currently, does not lead you through. Doesn't lead you up the steps. Does not lead you through the doors beyond, but instead takes you down towards the south before moving through into a small antechamber down a set of spiral staircases. Inside is a sitting room. You can see here that a couple of bookshelves lined up along the walls with books in them, a few benches and tables laid out. It looks like this was probably once used as I'd say like a study maybe, when there were more people using this castle, a whole complement of staff. You get the sense straight away that this castle is far more empty and less populated than it would have been in times gone by. There are signs that this castle has been, is less busy than you would expect for a keep of this size. Rahadin, please stay, and then leaves through the double doors, leaving you alone in this room. The tapestries on the wall depict scenes from probably the far distant past of Barovia. You kind of gather. You can see one tapestry showing the building of Castle Ravenloft. You can see another tapestry showing two men in armor, one with raven black hair, one with golden blonde hair, dressed in very complimentary armors, standing to attention, one with a large longsword, the other with a thin rapier, standing in front of the finished castle. And then in another panel, you can see the what almost looks like the expanse of the Lake Bartok, with the Wizard's Tower standing over it, looking in far better repair than when you've seen it. Tapestries on the wall. Yes.
As Rahad was leaving the room, can I send Froggo to go, follow along behind him at a pace to see where he goes and see if I can get a bit more of a layout of the castle?
Froggo is visible and tangible, yes?
I believe so, yeah.
Theo, as Froggo leaps from your hands, is Froggo trying to be stealthy?
Yes.
I may need a stealth check from Froggo then, please.
Alrighty, I'll need to get up a page for Froggo.
The cool thing is with the if you go to the bonus section on your character sheet, you should be able to add. Yeah, cool. You're already on it.
That's what I'll do it now.
I love the update they've done to manage familiars is much nicer on D&D Beyond. It is nicer the way they've done it. And wild shapes too. I guess you could have your wild shapes in there as well. No reason why.
That is something I did want to bring up. At some point, we were planning on transitioning me to the full Bjorn, and so the Bjornling.
Yes, you're level 8 now, aren't you?
I can level 9. I get CR3.
Yeah, so that's the full Bjorn.
Okay.
Yeah, so full Bayon is full Bayon is CR3, so that's perfect. You're one level off. That's awesome. You'll be having a fuckload of fun with a full Bayon. Oh my god.
The bonus section.
If anyone wants to ride Theo into battle as well, the Bayon is a good.
Not good from Froggo.
Not good from Froggo. That's a 5. I'm gonna say Froggo leaps from your hands and lands with a very audible, splashing sound. Yeah, like a splashing flap on the stone. Flap is the sound it makes as it lands on the stone. You watch as Rahadin immediately turns, looks down, and goes, "More pests. I shall fetch the cleaners at once." And as he goes to sort of walk away, you watch as Froggo flaps after him. He pauses, looks down, and goes, "Is this yours?"
Yes, sorry, it slipped out.
Keep these pests to yourself, lest they be removed from the castle.
I dismiss him to his pocket dimension.
As he disappears, Rahadin looks at the floor, expecting to see kind of slime and other shit left over. When there's not, he looks up at you, gives you a nod, and then and closes the door. Perfect. You are currently alone. You don't know how long Rahadin will be, but you are alone in this room for the time being. The room is about 10 feet long, about 20 feet wide. It's quite a small chamber with these benches in the very center. You can see there are coat hooks and 2 wardrobes set up at the far end, clearly designed for you to hang your clothes while not in use. I'll take that silence as no one's got anything mischievous or fun to do while they're unobserved.
Are we going to get changed? Are we going to...
Rahadin's going to come back with the clothes in a moment. He said he was going to go get some clothes and bring them back to you.
Yeah. Strip down in advance?
No thanks.
Oh, sorry. There's one other thing. There are privacy screens set up for areas. I'm trying to remember the name of what they're called.
Partitions?
Thank you. Partitions. Yeah, there are privacy partitions set up as well for those who want to change with some discretion.
Tithla goes and sets one up for her. Gets a good corner.
Yeah, there's one ready to go. Theo does the same. Fair enough. Theo does. Oh, it does not. I was going to say, because technically, Theo, you walk around not wearing pants. I mean, it seems a bit moot to try and hide your nipples from the boys when you're walking around Winnie the Pooh style 24/7.
I'm happy for Winnie the Pooh to be canon. I don't know if I actually properly envisioned the bottom half of Theo's eyes. Though.
I have deliberately drawn you wearing almost like a sarong that just covers anything that might be
That's right.
Poking out.
Yeah, just like a
covers the ram's horn nicely.
privacy so wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I got him. Yes. Got Josh. Oh man, I got Raph too. I could see Raph enjoying the goats, the ram's horn.
Do you have a song horn that I can blow?
The ram's horn?
As a, I mean, you do have some period of time to yourselves, it seems, where you are unobserved and seemingly kind of on your own. If there was anything you wanted to do, you let me know. Otherwise, Rahadin returns after not too long a wait.
Grinner's still with us?
No, Grinner has gone off to his room to get changed separately.
So just to be clear, what are we trying to get out of this? What, like?
Well, we need.
Good time to ask these questions, Tithla. Absolutely the right time to ask these questions. Yeah, you don't want to be asking this at dinner. Good call.
Look, without going into too much detail, because I suspect these walls have ears.
Wait, what?
Metaphorical ears.
Oh, okay.
You watch as the wallpaper rearranges from an ear shape into a very normal wallpaper design. This floral pattern emerges.
Well,
what you're saying is we shouldn't wander around.
No, we'll definitely have to wander around. I don't think they have eyes, just perhaps some ears.
Another bit of wallpaper rearranges away from an eye into a very unobscure tree branch pattern.
Goals 1. Look, we have something we need to find in the castle. So we'll need to try and find that. Goal 2, we need to talk to Strahd and hear out. Look, I didn't want to admit it, but Grinner's concept at least was not bad. I think we hear what he has to say, knowing that he is the second most evil thing in this realm.
Yep.
And keeping that in mind, but that is still the lesser of two evils, and if we can use either one of them to get a net win for the people or us, we should do this. And 3, if we can get Grinner out of this, then I think we do that. We bargain for him as well as we can. He is our friend, and if it costs anything less than the lives of everyone in Barovia, we give that to him.
I think it's pretty fair. Go on.
We know we have something in our pocket that we can offer him. I think we do not do so unless our lives are in danger or there's an equally large payoff for doing so. Do we all agree? I think we all know what we're talking about for what we could offer him.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd just like to confirm that Raspip is the most evil.
Naturally, yes.
Of course.
Going off of the horror stories that you've told me about them, I would assume that they're the most dominant.
Dumb question.
Well, I've not had the chance to meet them, so I can't.
Well,
I don't really know.
It's clear that Raspip is not good.
Sorry?
You know, was the one trying to be friends with him the other day?
No, I was just okay. People will speak. It's not my fault. It was a bad day.
It was certainly not a good day. It almost broke my heart.
It did break mine.
I know. That's why it almost broke mine.
Oh no.
So you're saying that Raspip broke your heart?
Well, yeah, because he said we were going to be friends, and then he said he was going to stay, and then he left again.
Isn't that an act of evil?
He left again, but he left like everyone else does as well. Like the again applied to both.
I don't think he actually said he's going to be your friend. I think he said something along the lines of "Don't touch my shit."
You were there. There was just us. We had a moment where he was being nice.
Tithla would believe that.
Tithla believes this
He was
wholeheartedly.
being nice.
The
He
rest
said
of you
the
not so
word.
much.
That's all it takes.
Well, I believe with you, Theo, in saying that not releasing the card unless we absolutely need to. But the Grinner pretty freely said that we're valued as a disruptive force here, so I don't think we need to reveal that card.
No, nor do I. But look, I don't think our lives will be in danger. But I mean, the initial plan of our now restored friend was to offer her in trade for the greater good.
That! I forgot what you were talking about.
Yeah, yes. So I think it comes down to how greater that good ends up being.
I still fall on the side of the good's not that great.
If the good is the lives of everyone in the realm going free and living happy, then and he promises it's a very nice wedding, maybe it could be worth it.
You know
Party?
what? Now's not the time for us to fight within.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, fine. We'll leave that off the card. Just
But we can all agree that the good is better than the evil, right? Because if we're not in agreement with that, then what are we doing?
I think we're trying to survive, actually. Turning down an invitation is probably going to be bad, so I think it's survival mode first, really.
Yeah.
If we try to get something, then Theo 1, 2, 3, absolutely, but just don't die in here, please.
The conversation you guys had earlier as well was around the idea of like, we kind of want to suss out what the situation is. And if the promise of safety is legit, this is a perfect opportunity to get behind enemy lines. That was kind of the pitching that you spoke about previously. Just in case you've forgotten, it has been 3 weeks, but for characters, it's been about 4 hours. So it is a bit of a difference.
Yeah, like the voice echoing from above said, if we're here, this is at least one enemy. If we learn something, we learn something. It will progress the plot, so to speak.
There's one more relevant factor here, and I'm very inclined to believe. We had a conversation in a caravan, and we were told to basically go to the wedding, and not the wedding, sorry, the dinner, and to not agree to take sides.
Yes.
Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
I kind of want to try to stick to that if possible.
Well, I was told that the side by having dinner with is the less evil of the two.
Oh, true, but just trying to abandon alliance, or
But
not
still
trying to
evil.
get pitched on one side or the other.
Exactly, but they're still evil. I mean, the dynamic that we're having currently is a complete shift to what it was when Luther was here.
True. I mean, the force of good is chilling back.
It seems the crusade is not happening anymore.
Oh, we'll crusade. Don't worry.
Don't love that word still.
You're right. We need to go back to cleansing.
Of 3 to 4 crusades.
Still don't love that word either. Do we have any others?
The purging. I
Yes, we
think it
do
was.
have others.
Oh no. Nah, look. No great words for that kind of thing.
We look at the end of the day. I think we stick to that line. Don't agree to anything we don't want to agree to, except everything he offers will probably be a devil's bargain. And if we can get out of here with ourselves and some information, big win. If we get out of here with ourselves, information, and a pathway to get Grinner back, then awesome also. He promised he would not eat people. Luther can control where he's at. If we can get him released from Strahd's influence, then look, it's a bit of a unfortunate situation, but there's no reason why he couldn't be a vampire and a friend.
I don't know what it's like here, but where I'm from, there's rumours of there being a few different ways to break that sort of connection, that sire spawn bond thing. From what I've read, I don't know if any of it's true or not, but one of them was the spawn needed to drink the blood of the one who turned them, and another one was there was a powerful spell that could break the bond, killing. This is also something that puts us in a bit of a precarious position. Again, I don't know if this is true, but if we were to kill him, it could kill Grinner.
Killian, do you want to make a history or arcana check? Anyone who wants to make, I'd say history for Killian, Jonor, history for you, or arcana, because you've probably researched this. Theo and Tithla, this is probably more arcana or nature for you two.
It sure did.
I'm pretty sure we established it was if you kill the master, then they're no longer enslaved to master.
Yeah, I'm happy to have another roll if you like.
17.
I rolled a 5. I'm literally, what Josh is doing is literally listing off all the different sort of vampire knowledge that I've learned through various different TV shows and movies, and that's literally what Killian's doing. He's just listing off a load of things that you don't know whether it's true or not.
There was a series of plays I watched back in Waterdeep.
Was,
yes, it was called The Vampire Diaries, and series of plays.
That was a much better play.
Wonderful effects, story. 5 for Killian. Killian, as you list these things off, I mean, you've also heard that if you can trap the vampire in a ring of salt, it can't leave. If you throw things on the floor, it won't be able to chase you because it'll have to count them. Like, there's all sorts of cool things you've read about vampires that you think, yeah, these will be great. Vampires are so neurotic. If you throw if you throw like grains of salt or rice on the floor, they won't be able to chase you until they've counted the grains of rice or salt before they come after you. 100% that's going to be good.
Garlic as well.
Oh, they hate garlic.
They hate garlic.
Hate garlic.
Terribly allergic to it. It's like lactose intolerance.
It's on steroids.
27
for Jonor's Arcana. Yeah, Jonor. You've had a bit of time now to think over this, to cast your mind back to the books that you've read on these creatures. If you were to kill a higher vampire, or a true vampire, all of the vampire spawn underneath them that they have created would be free, but still vampire spawn. If a vampire spawn is able to drink the blood of the vampire that turned them, they then become a true or higher vampire as well. If they're, in terms of magic that could be used to break this, the soul of the person who has been turned into a vampire spawn is gone. It's just the body that remains, and that's what is the vampire spawn. The soul has moved on. If you were able to reincarnate the person, that works, because the soul is separate. And so if you were to stake and kill the vampire spawn body, you could then reincarnate them back, bring the soul back in, and rejuvenate that vessel for them to exist in again. Other magic, easy peasy. Other magic that can help you out here. Remove curse isn't quite going to cut it. This is not just a curse. This is far more than just that. We're looking at very, very powerful magic to undo this. Probably needing to be cast by a very devout and high-level cleric who, you know, that a very powerful, a favored cleric by their patron god is going to be needed here. Magic is one avenue. It is difficult to break the connection between a vampire spawn and the true vampire, the higher vampire that created them. This isn't going to
share that.
Yeah.
Like option 1 is destroy. Option 2 is magic out.
Well, I can revive people.
Jonor, you think this is a bit more than just revive? The soul's gone. This is revive with a 27 for your Arcana check. You're going to need a bit more than just a spare the dying.
Stabby revivify.
Yeah. Do you think even revivify is not gonna? That's not gonna cut it. You're gonna need something a bit more powerful here.
The fresh dead body, they're right there, but the soul that's all entangled in this realm is a lot of digging and. One more
thing as well, Jonor. With your 27, you also know that souls in Barovia, it's different. to souls elsewhere. Souls elsewhere have moved on. They have traveled to a new plane, or they've hung around as ghosts. This is different. The souls here are trapped forever in the mists. They are part of the
Collecting
mists.
them like Pokemon cards.
Like, it's an odd one to
He's
go
collecting them.
for.
He's collecting all these adventurers.
Pokemon cards is
Wasn't
a
the best
weird.
analogy.
Even Pokemon was a better analogy. The word cards at the end there's made it a more difficult one for you to justify. Like Pokemon, you catch in balls, it kind of makes more sense. Pokemon cards is a weirder one.
You're definitely right. There's stronger metaphors that exist.
Within the realm you set as well. Like I didn't even have to work hard for them. But yeah, sure. Like Pokemon cards, Jonor. Yes. Back in Oxenford, you know that many people, a craze has been sweeping the streets with the youths
It
of
was a Thomas
Oxenford.
comment rather than a Jonor. We'll leave that one behind.
Like how some wizards, Jonor, might bind planar entities to their service using magic. Something similar has bound the souls to the land itself, to the mists of Barovia. Anything you're doing with Grinner's soul, you're going to need to break that. Whatever the magic is that is keeping these souls trapped here, that's going to need to be disrupted and broken first. And I'm going to say with the 27, you've had some time to think about this, and you've asked about the way souls kind of work and the way the mist works a couple of times now, and you've rolled highly, or I think on almost every single one of them. So I'm going to give you a bit more that you've had time. As Jonor's been thinking this through, I'm going to give you a little bit more that Jonor's been able to kind of tease out with your wizard knowledge. You know that this magic probably is more than just a spell. This is magic cast upon the very land itself. And magic that strong is often tied to something known as a fetter. This can be an object, this can be a creature. And normally the magic is sustained and powered. The weave gets its energy from that fetter. This is an entire demi-plane. Probably going to be more than one fetter. In fact, Jonor, you suspect there's probably 2 fetters, and you get the distinct impression that probably those 2 fetters might be creatures rather than objects, given your time and traveling around Barovia. Given that this spell has never failed, has never broken, you get the sense that it's either a very powerful object that is not aged or degraded in any way, sense, or form, or potentially 2 creatures that don't age or die. With your 27. Raspip is one of Raspip's rings!
So yes, and then there's also this rumor that the reason why vampires don't like going out in the sunlight is because their skin goes all sparkly and glowy. In some cases,
this was fucking
Look
coming.
ridiculous. You have to
I
put the
almost
whole
stopped
thing-
it. I almost stopped it before, and he just waited. He's just patiently been sitting there. Unbelievable.
Master.
Yes, Killian, you have heard a rumor that vampires go all sparkling when they step in sunlight. Yes. Oh, it's so appropriately timing that the better hold on tight spider monkey meme has come up stream right at that moment. What are the chances? That's incredible timing. For podcast listeners, Foxtrot did some lovely meme art of Luther with Tithla on his back saying, "Better hold on tight, spider monkey," which is forever one of my favorite memes about Luther. And probably one of the reasons Jared left the stream. Because we kept teasing about Luther being a Twilight vampire. He kept feeding it with random stuff. It's not our fault. If he kept creating those similarities, we can't help it if we're going to point him out and absolutely tease him for them. It's just how it goes. Exactly.
Right, so I think that's the plans then. Get info, get out alive, get out with Grinner unalive but not enthralled. Save the day. Profit, I guess. Get the item, get out. I don't think there's any other items here that anyone has any idea about that they might like. So just
when you say profit, do you mean like profit make more money or profit like me?
Are you a prophet now?
Well, yeah, like I always say things and people listen when I say things. Isn't that what that is?
I mean, no, is that just you?
Like they always come true.
Well, okay, I mean, I guess you could be somewhat prophetical. I mean, we could start a religion.
I, for a second, thought that was you referencing the fact that Jonor tried to sell you for profit once.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
No, you've committed to this really weird aside here, and
Yeah.
we're gonna stick
I'm sorry,
with that.
if
as
I
well.
knew where I am, you wouldn't
It
understand.
was a scholarship, okay?
I think there
I
is
can't
one
believe
thing.
now
that
you're saying it. You weren't even there. How did you know?
It's been brought up
heard it
enough
so many
times. Yeah.
I think we told him it was the first time we met Killian.
Yeah.
There's not a person in Barovia who doesn't know
Oh,
this story now. It's traveled across the lands. Like this, it's now part of the mists. Like all the souls that
Everyone
have been trapped.
beware the nerd who
Oh,
drives the
Pokemon
bike.
card.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a wizard out there who collects goblins like Pokemon cards. Fuck,
Not like
weird.
Pokemon, the cards.
That's it.
Put them in little sleeves and keep
Train them.
He trains them.
You have to look at them.
Tithla.
down the track.
Use tackle. No, don't worry. I'd
rather think, not,
actually, Jonor, if it's
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. I think there is one thing that we do need to accept, and that is if we can't break or solve Grinner's current condition, that we can't take Grinner with us. He, gesturing to the castle, has eyes and ears everywhere as it is. Having Grinner with us is going to guarantee that he's always going to be able to keep an eye on us no matter where we are, which means any potential friends that we have or will make are in danger.
I agree. So unless that link is broken, Grinner will not adventure with us anymore. But we try and save him to the best of our abilities.
Tithla
Yes.
holds up her notebook
Agreed.
where it says Grinner cross.
Yes, do not tell him plans. Yes. Okay. Well, shall we wait for formal clothes to arrive?
Oh, it's perfect timing.
I feel
You
like
hear
they're
it.
probably just about to walk in the
You hear
door.
a
for
quiet
some
knock
reason.
at the door. And as Rahadin walks in, he's carrying a pile of clothing that he places down on the seat and begins distributing out. He hands round a lot of darker colors. We're talking a lot of navies, blacks. But he has kind of picked items out that kind of do appeal to each of you. Theo, to you, he hands over a almost like a very dark crimson open jacket with only sort of one button to do up in the very center, and an undershirt, a very loose white linen undershirt with quite puffy sort of sleeves around the head. Very fey formal.
Sleeves are important.
Puffy sleeves are important. Killian, for you, he has brought a very sharp black suit with a bow tie as well. I figured Killian was more of a bow tie man. Kind of got that vibe. It is a tie. It's not a clip-on. Like you have to tie this. For Jonor, he has brought you very, very formal scholar's robes. Very, very beautiful midnight blue layered robes that sort of sit quite nicely around, splaying out. There's sort of wires around the waist in the backs of the robes that sort of hold them out a little bit away from you, creating this kind of effect of the robes splaying out from your waist. Open at the front and with trousers, black trousers underneath. The open jacket, not too dissimilar from your current outfit that you're wearing now, but much longer and in this very beautiful midnight blue and black. And again, a white linen
I
shirt.
thought mine was formal.
What was that? Sorry,
Jonor
Jonor.
might have to himself. I thought this was formal, but fine.
Oh, is this not formal enough for Jonor? Oh, your clothing originally,
No,
your current.
my
yeah.
time, yeah.
I mean, Jonor, as you look over your white over jacket, it was white when the journey started. Absolutely. It has coloured during your times. There's blood stains on it that you've never really been able to get out. There's a few
Understand.
rips and tears. Yeah, haven't had a chance to repair yet.
Especially around the back area.
There's one particular blood stain right at the back and a slit that is open at the back that has not been stitched up yet. Yeah.
Or has been.
Yeah. And Tithla. Rahadin has brought a black and white, very gothic-looking dress. You suspect this was probably once a child's outfit, but it does fit quite nicely. Black stockings as well. and a bracelet of what looks like sort of tiny silver skulls to put around your little goblin wrist.
Tithla grabs the dress and is like, she's never held something like this. Like, she's
It's a lot
never,
of lace as well, I should say.
like, but just like the delicate, the fancy, like she can't, like, she's a goblin who was raised by poor farm folks. She's never been.
She'd accepted
close
that
to
scholarship
anything
from
like
Jonor.
this.
Maybe she would have had a chance to enjoy the fine.
Who knows?
There you go, Tom. I've got you back.
Cheers, mate.
I'm looking after you.
So she's just like holding it so carefully as though she's going to break it just by breathing on it. And just very slowly and carefully walks away, trying not to wreck it, to go and put it on.
If you have any requests or specific things that you want to add to your outfits, Rahada will go and fetch them. Otherwise, if you get changed and you're all prepared to go, takes you maybe like 5-10 minutes to get fully dressed.
Do you have a top hat?
So it requires a top hat for the evening's event?
Naturally.
Naturally. Which is
I thought you
Rahadin.
said you had stay formal.
Rahadin walks in, opens one of the cupboards that's in the room with you, and you can see there's a number of hats displayed. He reaches through, pulls out a top hat, looks at you, kind of sizes you up, puts it away, pulls out a top hat with a larger top extended, and then hands it over to you. It's
Fancy
like
feather?
30 centimeters of top. He plucks a feather off a boa and sticks it in the lapel of the hat, the brim of the hat. No, not the brim. What's the name of the...
Hat
It's a
circle.
band around
the
it.
band.
Hat
Thank you, the
circle.
band. So, what's it called? Sorry, Has?
A hat circle.
A hat circle. There you go. It's the formal name for it. We'll stick with band. It sounds easier to say. So it's a black top hat with a beautiful silver band around it. He plucks a peacock feather from a boa and sticks it into the band for you, Theo. Sir, find this agreeable?
Where is the plum?
The plum.
Yes, the plum for the top of the hat.
Sir will have to provide perishable fruits for his own attire.
And I knew you would not have adequate faith for them, but I find this will have to do.
Yes, this will have to do for this evening's entertainment. Please, pulls out his stopwatch. We have 1 minute and 47 seconds until we are due to meet Grinner in the main entrance. Come. Quickly now. Tithla.
It is called the band.
Not
Of
the
the
hat
hat.
circle. I'm pretty sure I was right.
Well, this picture.
That's okay. We don't need to waste time on this. Jacob, you're the one who like needs to leave soon. Like you're extending this. This is your fault.
I am always on the side of chaos. Has
That's
no
very
one worked
true.
that out yet?
No, that's very true. True chaos, I think, would be Tithla and Jacob's alignment, both of you. It's an interesting intersection between the two of you there.
No, I think Tithla means well. I'm not sure I do.
No, it's very true as well. It's the most true statement I've ever. I'm updating Tithla's character page, and that's going to be the quote. Not Tithla's quote, Jacob's quote. I'm sure Tithla means well. Not sure I do. Nice. Unless there's anything else you wanted to do or anything else you wanted to say, Rahadin will lead you back into the entryway. Grinner, you are there waiting for them. There is a large gash down the side of your cheek, slowly knitting itself back together as time goes on. But you have been appropriately disciplined for your back talk, and Rahadin took him only a minute or two to grab the clothing. He spent about 6 minutes making sure you understood not to backtalk him ever again.
Yeah, Grinner definitely understands and may not comply.
Sick. Grinner, you've had worse, mate.
Yeah, I've been disciplined before.
That's very true. You've been talked down by a sergeant. They've made you do stuff. They've done stuff to you. You can take this. This is just a butler. What does he know about causing pain? Turns out quite a bit.
He's
More
probably
than you
been
expect.
scourged at one point, to be honest, in his military career.
I hope not. As you re-meet with Grinner back in the main hall, the four of you just catch the last fading line as it disappears from Grinner's face, healing over time. Grinner, you do have the vampire spawn regeneration. That wound heals itself as time goes on.
And one thing I do want to say for Grinner's outfit.
Yes. Do you want to pick it? 100%. Yep.
it probably would be military attire, like formal military wear with his medals that are appropriate on there and whatnot.
Would it be Grinner's like old military formal wear, or would it be military wear of the current locale?
It would be the rank and medal equivalent of the current locale. It wouldn't be the old stuff. I don't think.
So-
Grinner would want to be
But like the style, I mean, like would it be, you know, that country from where you came from, or would it be this country? Where
So
you
it's
came
not-
it'd be
It's not.
here.
It's not Barovian. All of these clothes you're wearing, I don't know how you guys haven't figured this out yet, but Grinner knows this. All the clothes you're wearing are from adventurers who've come through and have died here.
No.
Their clothing has been added to the collection. Those that have, and some of them were nicely dressed when they arrived in Barovia, and their clothing has been added to the collection. It's a military jacket from another place. Do you want to roll a D100, Raph, and let's see where it's from? Because if it's from Faerun, Killian's going to recognize it. It's unlikely to be from Nostea, but I'm putting in there as a tiny percentage. It could also be from the Feywild. 17. Okay, let's have a quick look. It's from the Nine Hells. It's from
Awesome.
Avernus. So let's minor adjustment. It's definitely made of some type of skin. Hopefully a devil's skin. It's been cured. And there are medals, but they've been carved out of soul coins. You can still see the screaming faces of devils in the soul coins. It's quite demonic looking. Grinner, you know this is the only military uniform that they had available at the castle. There are also holes at the back for cambion wings, for large bat wings. You've just sort of like held them closed as best you can.
He's used to having holes in his clothes. That'll be fine.
Exactly.
Has it got a butt flap in the back for a tail?
No. It's got a. Do you know what? Sure, let's go for it. Yeah, it's got a little semicircular cutout section for a tail to sit. So it sits quite nicely against the tail, which just means you can see Grinner's tucked-in shirt poking out the back with a little duck's tail as the shirt pokes out the back. I like that. That's very funny. I can't believe you. I was like 20% this, 20% this, 20%. 17 for Avernus. Nice. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. You watch as Rahadin looks you up and down and goes, rather devilish attire for tonight's events, but I suppose it is the closest match we have to your requirements of a military-style coat, Grinner.
Oh, you put it there.
It was the closest we had to your requirements of a military-style coat, Grinner.
Yes, boss.
Good. Now, I hope the lot of you have worked up a bit of an appetite. Please, follow me into the dining hall, and we can begin tonight's event.
Are we going to get fairy bread?
Fairy bread. What is this fey... What would you say? A fey sandwich that you speak of, or a fey
It's
entree?
It's a traditional, gathering accoutrement, from where I'm from.
That was a mess
Just
from
trying
start to
use the words
finish.
you heard before.
Oh yeah, I know what you're trying to do. It's good. I like it.
And it's a piece of plain bread with butter and then some sugary sprinkles on top.
Rada just turns and walks away.
Oh, okay. I'll take that as it maybe.
Maybe on
Sounds quite
request.
tasty.
Does sound like
Requested it.
Aussies will obviously know what fairy bread is. Everyone else is probably a bit confused. This is a legitimate thing Australians do. We get white bread, spread a bit of butter on it, sprinkle some hundreds and thousands on it. Or sprinkles, I guess, if you're UK or US. It's seriously really good. Legit. If you
It's
haven't tried
delicious.
it, it's really good. It's really good.
Cannot go to a children's party without it.
No, that's very true. And I think most adults as well would be disappointed without the addition of fairy bread at a party. When I was planning on doing a very late 30th. Maybe I should have like just fairy bread.
Fairy bread themed.
Just fairy bread themed. Yeah, that'd be fun. As Rahadin leads you through down towards the south again, but this time towards a large set of double doors standing before you, beautiful wood inlaid with metal filigree. Rahadin walks up, knocks twice on the door, and you hear a voice call out from inside, echoing through the chambers. Enter, please. And as the doors open, you see a beautiful dining hall standing before you. The table laid with a white tablecloth. The seats beautifully upholstered with what looks like red velvet. The dining hall is immaculate. A fire burns in the hearth, filling the room with warmth and light. Chandeliers high above, with sputtering candles, provide flickering shadows onto the table before you, which has been set with fine dining instruments. Beautiful plates, probably not silver, but silver-looking cutlery lays across the table. Yeah, probably platinum cutlery lays across the table. Yeah, he probably would be melted down platinum. Laid across the table. And you can see in the very center of the table a large carafe of beautiful, brilliant red wine. Breathing, allowing time to rest. Standing at the far end of the hallway, dressed in elegant clothing, military-style cape, half cape hanging from a shoulder, black on the outside, crimson on the inside, stands a familiar figure. Black hair with grey across the temples, slightly hooked nose, pale skin, very imposing figure. Strahd von Zarovich. In his left hand, he holds a goblet of, hopefully, red wine. He spins slowly in the glass as it leaves behind a bit of a trail. He looks from the fire towards all of you. Ah, my guests, please. Come and find your seats. I hope you do not mind. We have other guests joining us tonight who will be but a moment longer. May I offer you some refreshments?
Who's coming?
Oh, I would not want to spoil the surprise so soon. I think it will be enjoyable for you. Oh, I hope your attendant here, Grinner, was a familiar face, a friendly face to guide you back to these halls.
It was definitely a shock. I don't know if we'd think it's a friendly face without wanting to be disrespectful in your own home. It's usually not polite to send a dear friend that you've drained the life of to extend a party invitation.
Did Grinner not enlighten you as to what had happened between us? It was a little bit of a misunderstanding. I did not mean to turn Grinner into a vampire spawn. It was not my intention to turn your friend against you. He is still your friend, after all. No, Grinner
So
and
he's
I...
against us.
No, not at all. That was what I am saying. It was not the plan, intention, and certainly not the reality of the situation. Grinner and I are somewhat alike in some ways. He has been able to show me that in our time together. Just as he sometimes struggles to control his rage, so too did I find his disrespect rather irksome, and I forget sometimes how easily breakable you mortals are. I have apologized to Grinner for taking it as far as I did. It was not my intention to cause him this pain that he suffered. But now, you feel no pain. Isn't that right, Grinner?
That's right, boss.
We do
If
not
you
need to
do-
be so formal around your friends, Grinner. You refer to me as Strahd. I know you prefer your titles. You do not need to. I've said this many times.
All right.
If you do truly regret what you have done to him, then surely the way to make amends then would be to release him from the thraldom you have put him under.
There is no thraldom. Trust me. A newly born vampire is a dangerous creature. You really want to have to slay your friend.
God.
Well, I think it's more about, turning from a vampire. I thought that's what was being implied here.
I do not have
Spawn,
magic to restore your friend back to his human state. And if I offered my blood to him, he would awaken thirstier than you can imagine. And Grinner's previous struggles with self-control around this issue should probably be of concern to you as well, just as they are of concern to me. I will not unleash a monster upon the population. It will take him time to be able to control his thirst. No. Not until we know that he is able to. Grinner, do you want to be a vampire?
I want what's going to be best for everyone here.
Look, I have to say, I wasn't expecting such a persuasive argument.
I think there has been some miscommunication between us. Perhaps there has been some misunderstandings.
Was that when you said you were going to stay and then you left?
For my part, I take full responsibility. It was never my intention to hurt any of you. You are guests in my lands here.
You almost killed Killian.
Ah, that was a misunderstanding. As I said, sometimes I struggle to control the beast that lurks within my blood. That is the curse that I suffer. I will try my best to restrain myself, but I would advise not provoking me. Same as I will not provoke you.
I understood, though. If there has been a miscommunication, then I think we at least owe it to you to hear you out. Shall you show the other guests in, and shall we have our meal?
Please, sit down, and if I can offer you some refreshments, we have wine and other beverages as well. Tithla, yes. I imagine you do not partake of the fruit of the grape. Fruit of the vine.
Milk is normally good for me, thanks.
We can have milk. Goats, cows, sheeps.
Yep.
All three mixed together in a glass.
I sort of meant like any of those will be fine, but we could try a mix. I've never tried a mix.
Rahadin, go and fetch Tithla. A mixture of all three milks. You watch as Rahadin just looks at you, Tithla, venom in his eyes. Of course, master, at once. And stalks out of the hall.
Doesn't even notice him.
Perfect. He just shoots daggers at the back of Tithla's head like, fucking kill you. Of course, master, I will right away.
Tithla's actually there, like she's doing a little sway, like playing with her dress again, like infatuated with her dress.
I take it you, like your outfits for tonight. You are very, very nicely dressed, all of you. You took up the offer of clothing here that we have in the castle.
Oh, believe it or not, adventuring throughout your land has not left a lot of opportunity to acquire nice clothes and less opportunity to use them.
Oh, I can imagine. Unfortunately, the stalemate between my brother and I has left these lands ravaged. I hope to return them to a state of culture like that we enjoy here inside the castle. Please feel free to keep the clothing. I hope you will find opportunity to wear it in the future.
That is most generous. I can't help but notice, you said there's a place of culture within this castle, but so far all I have seen is your man Rahadin and our friend the Grinner as your attendants. A castle of this grandeur, I would expect staff.
Oh, we have staff. Many staff. I thought you would prefer a more intimate setting. I suspected if you walked into an army of vampire spawn, you might be somewhat intimidated and mistake my intentions here.
But no, when I said staff, I meant people, not necessarily vampire spawn.
Oh, the troubles at the village have kept most of our human staff otherwise preoccupied. But I'm sure Grinner took you through all of that.
I mean, it was mentioned that there was trouble in Barovia.
Oh, we shall have to save these talks of trouble in Barovia for another time. The final guest has arrived. I believe you also have met Katarina. And as he gestures towards the door, you watch as a raven-haired woman walks through. Very similar to the dark hair of Irina, now that you have this moment of notice and realization. And as Katarina walks in, dressed in a very elegant ball gown, a trail behind her, she smiles. You see bright red irises, just like Grinner's. And that is where we're going to leave off for tonight. thank you very much for joining us, everybody. It has been wonderful to be back. We have to, unfortunately, leave it for tonight there, but we will be back next Monday with more Curse of Strahd, and Wednesday and Thursday this week with Return of the Giants and Avatar Legends. For those of you watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We are going to go and raid another lovely friend of the channel tonight. That is going to be... Let's have a look and see. Could be Dice Actors. We do raid Dice Actors sometimes. Let's see if there's anyone else who we haven't raided before. Let's raid someone new. Looks like Eswoogie is currently doing a series as well. Oh yeah, let's go and raid Eswoogie. Looks like a nice little D&D campaign with dragons and armies. Ahoy is their title, so that should be fun. Let's go and raid them. We'll go and start up with those in a minute. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to make sure that Tithla can keep this dress intact for the remainder of the campaign, you're going to have to click like and subscribe. It's the only way that it's not going to get horrendously burnt in another incident with an oven. No spoilers for Jacob. Just ignore that bit, Jacob. You don't have to worry about that. We will, and obviously we need Theo to keep his top hat as well, which is also going to require a comment. Only way to keep that top hat intact is going to be comments below the video. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, farewell. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.